Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and today thought we'd have a quick look at this. This has just arrived in the post this morning. A couple of old laptops that I picked up on eBay, very cheap. Vintage laptops, that is. I saw these on a buy it now, and at what they was asking for them, I couldn't really turn it down, because one of these is a laptop I actually used to own back in the 90s, and that's mainly the reason that I thought I would grab these. So let's just open it up, and we're into like the 486 era with these. At least the one that I actually bought this lot for, that should be a 486. The other laptop I am not actually 100% sure, it could be early Pentium, but it's still a vintage laptop. Let's see what we get in here. So we're not going to be doing any repair on these or anything in this video. I just thought we'd unbox them on camera, let you have a look what I picked up. Just show that you can still pick up, you know, vintage computing stuff, you know, quite interesting for the age, you know, 90s. Vintage computing stuff still for cheap. I mean, it's getting harder and harder to do. The prices of anything vintage computer related are going up exponentially, but there are still things to be bought. Right. First things first, and this is actually the computer that I've bought them for. You have, and it's heavy, you get it out of the box. Toshiba T1910. So this is basically 486. I might even be able to power this up actually, because it does use a fairly standard power supply, PC laptop power supply. But yeah, that's actually in quite nice condition. But I actually had one of the, oh, is that a memory expansion card it's got in there? I think it's actually got a yeah, yes it has, it's got the memory expansion. Oh, 16 meg memory expansion card in it. Now, it didn't mention that on the listing. That's cool. That's very cool, actually. That card on its own is worth what I paid for this lot. Basically, I paid a tenner for both laptops, so it's an absolute steal. So yeah, we've got a Toshiba T1910 there, and I had one of, well, in fact, I had more than one of these. I had about 20 of them at one point, after a little indiscretion at an auction. Back in the late 90s, I actually used to sell refurbished PCs, and I used to go to the auctions and bid on lots of computers. And like I said, there were a little mix up at the auction, mixed up some bidding numbers, and ended up buying 20 of these rather than 20 desktop systems, which I was actually planning on buying. But I got them like really cheap. And I still managed to well make my money back on them. In fact, for a little 486 laptop, they weren't bad at all. I bundled them with DOS Windows, and I think I put WordPerfect or something like that. I've literally sold them as little word processing systems. So it's quite nice to have one for the collection now. And like I say, it's not in terrible condition by the look of it. What is that? No, the door's there, it's just opened. That's for a little trackball that you could put on the side of them. No, it's actually not in. All the doors are there. There's our parallel printer for an external disk drive. Serial mouse there. Standard VGA there. We've got a power input there. Well, that's the battery release. It actually does still have its battery in it. I very much doubt that's going to actually hold a charge, but it does still have its battery. So that's like I said, that's the laptop I actually bought this this lot for. And then this just came with it, so I'm not as bothered about this one. But we've got, let me get that box out of the way. We've got a Dell, and I think this is probably, yeah, this is going to be like Pentium, perhaps Pentium 2 era, something like that. Actually, again, not bad. Designed for Windows 2000 or Windows 98. It's actually still got its little Windows sticker on it there. The screen's got a few little marks on it, but I don't think it's broken. It doesn't look too terrible, it just needs a really good clean. So we've got a Dell Latitude. So I think it's probably Pentium 1 or Pentium 2 era. Again, rather nice onboard sound as well. This is very basic, you know, you've got a floppy drive and that's pretty much it. This is of the later era, this is a multimedia laptop, so we've got audio out and inputs there. Serial parallel stain, the same, that's for the docking station. Unfortunately, the little plastic that should cover them is missing off it. We've got USB, which does make it, again, fairly useful for some things. VGA, keyboard and mouse combined there. Unfortunately, what it does have is a proprietary power connector. So I don't think we'll be trying to power this one up in this video, because I don't think I've got anything that I can just easily connect up to that. But apart from that, oh, and of course we've got a CD drive there. Again, it does have its battery, so it's fairly complete. So this one I'm not as really interested in, although it might make a nice little, still might make a nice little retro gaming setup, you know, like Windows 98 retro gaming setup. A little bit of damage, I don't know if you can see it on the top of the case there, it looks like it's been dropped and it's got a piece chipped out of it, but providing it hasn't actually damaged the LCD, that shouldn't be so much of an issue. So yeah, it still make a nice retro laptop for someone that needs, like I said, Pentium 1, Pentium 2 era. It's probably Pentium 2 era by the look of it. Let's get back to this nice little Toshiba, because this is the one I want to see whether it powers up, because these were sold totally as seen, untested, doesn't know whether they work. Let's have a look at the I think, let's make sure it's positive to centre positive. Yes, it is, and it's 18 volts. So I think the power supply I have here, which is just for my well, actually that's a Toshiba as well, my modern Toshiba that I use on in the workshop, should actually, yes it does actually fit, and we do have a LED come on, so it is getting power. Let's see if it's going to power up. It doesn't seem to want to switch on though, even though it is receiving power. We've got the LED on. I'm pressing the power button and we're getting nothing. Now we could just have a duff power button, to be honest. It could be as simple as that. It does feel, it's not quite as clicky as I would expect, but at least it's not completely dead. You know, we do have some signs of life out of it. Let me unplug it. Let's try quickly plugging it back in. Oh, we got power out of it the first time. It's not powering back up now. Yeah. That connector okay. It's also very, very corroded by the look of it, that connector. I can't see any green anywhere though, so I don't think this thing's, it might have a leaky battery. See if we can eject the battery. Oh, that's the, what's it lock? I was pretty sure you just slid that back to pull the battery out, but you have to lift it up. So it looks like there might be something wrong with the battery release as well, because the battery doesn't seem to want to, I don't want to force it. I was pretty sure you just slide that on the side and the battery would pull forwards and you could just pull it out, but it doesn't seem to want to do that. So I think we're going to have to get inside it at some point and actually look at that. Also for the hard drive. Which is missing. I think the hard drive goes in there. So we don't have the hard drive for it, but we should be able to find one that'll fit. It should just be a standard 44 pin IDE. So we might be able to use, you know, a 44 pin IDE to compact flash adapter and put a compact flash card in it or something. Which will make this a little bit more usable and make it easy for me to be able to get software off and on it actually. That might be the way I go for storage for it. Let's just let's give it one more quick try, see if we can get the thing to power back up again. Oh, there we go. But again, pressing the power button is doing nothing. So we've definitely got a repair in the pipeline there. So I'll just have a quick look and see if I've got an adapter so we could try and power that Dell up and see if that Dell's got any signs of life as well. So I'll just say back in a sec. Right, okay, we are back and I actually found a suitable adapter end. I have a big pot of these. They're from them universal, you know, power supplies where you get a big pack of different ends on it and basically you can swap and change the ends. Whenever I see these lying around anyway, I always grab them and just throw them in this pot. And I've always got various ends that I can use. Just when I'm playing about and want to try and power something up, you know, I can literally make up something like that where I've got a standard jack connection on the end there, which my standard laptop power supply will give 18 volts. And I've got the correct power adapter on that side to go in the Dell. What I did have to do was just get the old tester out, go to a ground point and just you know, identify which one of those is ground and which is VCC. The other actual pin, as far as I can aware, isn't actually connected to anything, so I couldn't get any reference to any other points from the other pin. It possibly could go to like a feedback circuit or something in the power supply, but I'm hoping it's not necessary and that should be enough to at least get some life out of this. I have done this, you know, many times before just to see if a laptop's going to power up. So we can plug that in there. It makes a nice fit. Now this laptop is asking for 20 volts and all I've got here is I think 18 and 19 volts, but with it being a DC to DC converter, basically in the laptop, they're usually fairly tolerant of a volt or two more or a volt or two less than what they're actually expecting. So if I plug that in there, we should have power to the laptop if it's indeed going to do anything. Look at that. Dell, can you see that on screen? Let me get you down a little bit so you can see the screen a little bit better. There we go. Obviously this has probably not been fired up for some time. Invalid configure information, please run setup program, time and date not set. So it's lost all its CMOS settings. But let's press F2 and see if we can get into the setup. There we go. Oh, it's Pentium 3. I thought it might be Pentium 2, but it's Pentium 3, which is quite cool. So we've got a Pentium 3 750/600 megahertz. Oh, it says current CPU speed 750 megahertz. So this is actually very, very comparable with this system that I have. This is one of my, you know, tweener kind of systems. Runs Windows 98. Except very, very similar kind of system actually. DVD writer, floppy drive. I think it's got I'm sure this, yeah, it's got a couple of USB ports on it. This is an AMD though. This has got an AMD Athlon, or Athlon 2 I believe, CPU in it. Probably very, very slightly later, being that it's designed for Windows ME. I've had this for quite a few years now, and it does still get a fair bit of use. And believe it or not, the battery actually still works in this laptop. But yeah, so this is a very comparable type of laptop to that, very similar kind of era, just probably very, very slightly earlier. We've only got a CD-ROM drive, I think, in this rather than a CD writer. We've got 256 meg of RAM, which is plenty for this kind of system. We've got an ATI video controller built in with 8 megs of RAM. So this actually could make quite a nice, like, retro gaming style laptop. A little bit of damage to the bottom of the case there, but I don't actually think it's the hinge moving. I think it is just the plastics. And like I said, we've got a little bit of damage I noticed up there. We don't appear to have a floppy disk on this one, do we? No, this doesn't actually have a floppy disk installed. I think it would be a case of you either had a CD drive in it or a floppy drive. Again, not a major issue for what I would probably use this laptop for. We have the CD drive, so if you wanted to get a load of games or something on here, that's the way you probably do it. And we have got I think is that a 12 gig hard drive, which will probably be about right for the era of computer. Yeah, I'm blown away that that's actually working, and also we've got a hard drive in it as well. Let us see if we can get this thing to perhaps boot. I don't know whether it's going to have an OS on it or not. Let's press escape to exit. Let's see what it's going to do. It actually does sound... oh, it's got XP on it. Awesome. Obviously that's a little bit too new for this system. I'll probably end up putting Windows 98 on it, which is more, you know, more in keeping. But this obviously was used, you know, fairly late on with them. Actually, someone actually put in Windows XP on it, and it's actually none too slow. Getting guessed. Audio works. Yeah, I'm actually really impressed. 10 quid. I mean, that's worth 10 quid on its own. That's not even what I got it for. I got it for the it says I got it for this one. So that's cool, especially considering it looks like it's basically up and running. I wonder if they've had this for a kid or something. More great games, play my games. We'll have a quick little snoop around the hard drive. Obviously this is not my computer, so I don't want to accidentally give someone's data away, and obviously I will be formatting this. I don't want XP on it anyway. I will be putting Windows 98 back on it, which is what it would have originally come with. I don't know, what you tell me, folks. What should I do with this? Because like I said, this was not the computer that I was in, that I bought the two systems for. It was the other, the Toshiba, that I actually bought them for, because that's what I did used to mess about with. But this is too nice just to chuck away. Definitely. Is there anything in the CD drive? Has anyone left us a oh, there is. Been left a present. Eddie Max. EDI Max. And a code on it. We've got a free CDR in here. Yeah, and there are people's data on here. We've got Derby, football, fan club sports, change. Yeah, that's got people's data on this, so I will have to format this. What are these? Just open this up and see what it is. It's probably some drivers or something like that. Oh, it's wireless LAN setup. Yeah, so someone had a let me cancel that. Someone obviously had a wireless card, PCIMCA wireless card in this or something like that. Kind of makes sense with it being used into the XP era. I'm actually quite surprised how zappy this is with Windows XP on it. This was designed to run Windows 98. Any other games or any all programs? Let's see what else is on here. Go on. Not a huge amount. Dracula. What's Dracula? I don't think that's going to load. So we're not really bothered about that because as soon as I finish this video I will most likely just format this hard drive so I can put Windows 98 on it. I think I've got a Windows 98 SE bootable CD that we can use. So what do you reckon I should do with this? Should I just sell it as it is? Or do you think this would be worth doing a full refurb on and see if I can actually get perhaps a new... Because I mean, people do break these up. You do find parts for these older laptops for sale on eBay and what have you. Usually at very high prices, but occasionally you can find, a piece at a reasonable price. I mean, I wouldn't pay more than like, say, £5 or something for the plastic bezel. But if I could find one that someone was willing to sell cheap, I could possibly change that bezel on it. That actually only seems to be the only bit of cosmetic damage on this. That it's, that little bit that's cracked there, and there's a little crack down there. But the hinges themselves don't feel bad. I can't really feel much rock in them. Possibly need tightening a tiny little bit, but they're not terrible. I have found on a lot of, earlier laptops, especially late 90s stuff, this seems to be the hinges that go on them, and you open the lid and you get this crack and it just breaks off there. This is actually pretty good. But then again, Dell, they did make a good laptop, to be fair. So did Toshiba, but I'm quite surprised with that. I was not expecting it to be quite that good. I thought it would probably be a little bit earlier than this. Pentium 1, Pentium 2. I wasn't expecting a Pentium 3 system. 750 megahertz is a nice speed. If you want to play a bit of Quake or something like that, this would actually do it really, really nicely. Even the screen's pretty good. You could game on that screen and it wouldn't be terrible. If you don't have a lot of space or anything and you want to get into retro gaming, something like this is absolutely brilliant for it, because it will run a lot of the earlier DOS games. It'll certainly run Doom and things like that really, really nicely. In fact, let's see what sound card it's running. Let's see if we can find out quickly what sound card it's got in it. So if we go to my computer, hang on a minute, we want to right click on that, don't we? It's believe it or not, it's a while since I've actually used XP. Properties. I want to try and bring device manager up. Here we go. Hardware. Device manager. Oh, yeah, I'd need the admin password, I think. I don't think it's actually going to let me in. Oh, it's going to let me in to actually view stuff. I just can't change anything. That, like I said, that's irrelevant. Sound, video and games controllers. Right, so we're not going to be doing a lot of DOS gaming on this with audio because it uses the ESS integrated sound. Basically, that doesn't have DOS drivers for it. It's a Windows 9. It will run absolutely perfectly Windows 98. That is supported on it. MS-DOS is not supported on it. Unlike my my Packard Bell here, which, like I say, I believe is possibly actually very slightly newer. This has actually got a Sound Blaster compatible sound card in it, so it will run, you know, MS-DOS games in DOS, no problem. As where this one, you are limited to Windows for audio because it, like I say, it uses the ESS audio drive really for its sound, which is a little bit of a shame, but it's not the end of the world. If you're happy to play, you know, Win98 era games, or you don't mind not playing with audio on like MS-DOS based games, this will still work absolutely fine for something like that. And I am really quite impressed with that. Do we have some kind of video output on it as well? What I'll have to do is I'll have to pull excuse me, I'll have to find a little bit more information about this and actually see what we can possibly do with it. So yeah, I'm actually blown away with that. I weren't expecting to get a nice Pentium 3 laptop out of the deal. I was just hoping on a reasonable 486 to play with, but that's cool. And it does seem to be in quite nice working order. Come on, shut down. The sound doesn't sound bad. Let's make sure it shuts down fully. And it isn't, like I say, it's running XP Pro quite nicely, really. That's the shutdown perhaps taking a little bit of time, but there we go. Yeah, that's cool. That's a really nice little retro laptop for, well, really £5 if you consider I got the two of them for 10 quid. It's just a bit of a shame this one didn't power up, because like I said, this was what I really was buying the lot for. This is a bit early, like I said, this is a little bit earlier, being 486. Just a shame. Like I said, it's a shame that we're not getting any, unless I'm doing something really daft, but I'm pretty sure that that's the power button on the side. And we're getting absolutely nothing, and we're not getting absolutely no sign of life. I'm hoping it's just a duff actual contact switch on there, and it's going to be something that's fairly easy to get round. Yeah, no, it's not looking like it's going to do anything with just a little bit of... The occasion when these switches are going, if you fiddle about with them a little bit and press a little bit, you can eventually get them to catch. But so unfortunately, in this instance, it's not doing. So we are going to have to do a repair, or an attempted repair on that system. We attempted just to pop the bottom off it, but it does look like it'll be a little bit more work than I really want to do on this video. Like I said, this wasn't meant to be a long video or anything, it was just a quick let's unbox these and see what we've got. A bit of a shame that the hard drive's missing as well, and I'm not 100% sure whether that doesn't need a caddy, because some of these did indeed need a caddy to take the... don't know. I think I can see a standard edge connector down at the bottom there. So it might have just been a bit of foil that the hard drive went in, and it literally just slid in with a little thing you could pull it out with like that. I've seen that many times on this era of laptop as well, so we will have to look into that and possibly see what we can do. But first thing we need to do, like I said on this, is, and that's nice as well, we've got separate keyboard and mouse PS2 ports there. It's not got the combined port like the Dell has. So yeah, two vintage laptops for 10 quid. Like I say, I can't really complain about that, because these are getting harder and harder to find at a sensible price. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. I hope you enjoyed this little look at those two old laptops. So I will say thanks for watching and goodbye.